VHS new horror movie. Heard it's kind of scary and I hope it doesn't disappoint. Let's check this out. VHS is the new horror film, sort of an anthology of sorts. It's almost kind of like 4 Rooms, but for a horror movie, where it's a bunch of different horror vignettes all put together in one. If I was going to try credit this, that'd be way too hard, because there's the people that came up with the concept, the writers of the certain segments, and the directors of the certain segments. That's all. I could not even go through the list, and you know, just look down in the info description, and I even had trouble just filling that up. The story starts with these, I think it was like about 5 real jackets, just kind of real pieces of shit human people, just bad people, and they get hired to break into this house and steal this one VHS tape, and they don't know which one it is. They'll just apparently know it when they see it. So they start looking around. And then they start watching through the tapes. One person will watch through a tape at a time until they know which one it is. And basically, once they watch a tape, we go from that, and then we start watching the tape. Because them even breaking in the house and all is found footage. And then the tapes they watch are also found footage. And there's 5. The first one is these guys go cruising around, go to a bar and start picking up chicks. And there's this weird girl that they end up picking up and hanging out with. And there's something wrong with this first tape, though. This, along with probably the last, would be the scariest of them. And it was like the most had the most money for its budget, I guess would be a good way to put it. The second one is this second honeymoon between this guy and girl. And out of all the stories, this one is the weakest until the action does pick up. Then it really bothered me. But I don't really want to talk about it because there's, like, I don't want to spoil it. But something I noticed, this tape, not so much, but pretty much every other tape was just people like get naked very quickly. It's like all the women are taking their clothes off. I was like, whoa, that was, what, 2 minutes? Like, it happens very quickly. They just quickly, like, someone take your clothes off so we can get through. Next cliche. I mean, there is some cliches, but that one is the one that basically transferred to every tape except this one. The third one is the most cliched of them all. It's these 4 teenagers. They go into they're gonna go to like this cabin or whatever in the middle of the woods for like a little weekend vacation or whatever. And then there's like a ghost demon thing that's possessing their camera and killing them off. This one though is just cliched and has a lot of horror tropes in it. And yeah. Then number 4, it's a Skype chat between girlfriend and boyfriend. The guy is like off out of town, and the girl thinks her apartment is haunted, and weird stuff happens in this one, where she's basically like keeps going out every night, and there's weird voices and there's ghosts kind of tormenting her. And then the last one is these 4 dudes go out for a Halloween party, and they show up at the wrong house, and some crazy stuff happens. And then all the while that's happening, after each tape, we cut back to the guys in the house watching the tapes because they're kind of taking turn, and it's like, where'd that thing go? Wait, now that's over there. That wasn't there before. What's going on? It's kind of creepy stuff like that. I'll admit it, this is a pretty scary movie. It's not exactly like scary, like it'll make you jump up all the time because you're scared, but it does some good suspense building because it's found footage. Somewhat similar, but yet also very different to movies like Paranormal Activity. In Paranormal Activity, you just got a camera that's going to stay there, or maybe if you're lucky it moves a little, and it's just kind of waiting for something to happen, and then eventually some tension could get built. This one, no, you're allowed to move around stuff, but with that, there's also problems. I mean, when we're first introduced to these punks, wow. I was tempted to turn the movie off. It was so much shaking the camera, it was ridiculous. It was just Good Lord, you know how to hold it still for 5 seconds in your life? But yeah, these young men have a problem holding the camera still. It's just a lot of them kind of doing stuff that's moving all over the place, and I don't know if, like, it's not like the creators did that on purpose to like mask bad effects or fight choreography or something like in big Hollywood movies where it's like shake the camera because we have no idea what we're doing. It's just like this asshole didn't know how to keep his arm still. And the first tape, the first and last are the most well made and most scary because the first one is it's off a kind of shock factor and it does build up some suspense. There is a few times when you're like, oh really, you're doing stupid things right now. It's like, why aren't you running or something. It's like kind of dumb stuff like that, really. The second one, it is pretty boring, and in fact there's no much suspense because all these segments are only like 30 minutes each, and like the second one is just, it's the last 5 minutes when stuff gets scary. But this one wasn't as scary, but this one made my stomach churn. I was like, my skin was crawling. I was like, oh god. Because it wasn't like disgusting, it was just like, oh shit. Because it was something that could actually happen. I was like, boy, oh. I don't want to see what happens, but just something that seems like it couldn't, but once you get to a certain point, it's like, oh, that's where the shock factor comes in, and then you're creeped out. The third one, oh god, it's like, Jesus, there's so many cliches, and the acting in this one was the worst of them. Specifically just this one girl in it. But it does get creepy because once you get to this ghost camera demon thing, that was cool. It was interesting. It was kind of like the game Slender. If you know that game, you know what I'm talking about. But it was creepy. It had a certain creep factor to it. If this was a whole movie, I wouldn't mind it. It'd be kind of interesting for a whole movie, almost like Blair Witch Project or something. It'd be neat. The fourth one, oh dear, again, kind of bad acting on both parts. The girl was better than the guy, but it was just kind of like, alright, stuff's happening. Why aren't you getting out of the house though? Because it kind of seems like, maybe get out of your apartment. But, you know, with today's market for houses and stuff, you get a cheap apartment, you got to keep it, otherwise you'll never get another house again. But some of these tapes actually do have like little twists that make you go like, wait, what? Whoa, that is creepy and cool. It's like, so some of these tapes do have that, and then you get the fifth one, which is where most of the budget for the movie probably went. It was good. And the acting all around, there's like a few tapes where it's like a few people were weak points, but for the most part it's good acting. As you know, most horror movies gotta get unknown people, because if you get like Jennifer Lawrence in House of the Inner Street, oh, she's not gonna die, that's Katniss, she's not dead, obviously. So you gotta get the unknowns, and if you get the unknowns, there's always a chance some of them might not be good actors. I think you should definitely check this out if you're into horror movies. It's pretty neat, it's very inventive, as opposed to shit that we get nowadays with like, oh, remake this horror movie, then this one, like, just, we're sick of seeing horror remakes, and most people are kind of sick of just lame, uninventive things, like, it's another haunted house movie where, yep, demons are going to slowly just up in their game and kind of scaring you worse and worse until they eventually come out and you win or whatever. Like the haunted house movies, the lame slasher movies, it's boring, it's dull, we're sick of it. This is inventive. This is kind of cool new little stories that if you've seen a story like this, it does not play out in this way. It's interesting and it's new and it's different, and I liked it for that. And I would probably give VHS a B. It's pretty cool. Even if you don't like horror movies, then that's even better. Watch it and you might like pee your pants. But yeah, definitely check it out if you either like being scared or want to test and be like, oh, this movie might not scare me. See, maybe it will, maybe it won't, whatever. If you like this review, you can like or subscribe. Comment below, tell me what was your favorite tape. If you've seen this, what's your favorite segment of the movie? Which one scared you the most or you just enjoyed most overall? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon when I review This Means War. Something I watched a little bit before this, and I've seen it earlier, but I rewatched it because I wanted to rewatch it so I could review it, because, you know, I got something to say, damn it, and when I get to that, I'll get to it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you guys then.